Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Bits video. Behind me here, we have the new quote-unquote refreshed Tesla Model S Plaid. And in today's video, we're going to be answering your questions about the new Model S to see if it's worth the money. So this is quote-unquote, yes, the refresh Model S. If you actually look up the definition of a refresh, it's a mid-cycle refresh, which is what Tesla has done here. That can be some styling changes such as new front bumpers, headlights, new seats, wheel designs, and that's exactly what we have here. Now, Tesla doesn't necessarily communicate that this is a full refresh of the Model S, but it is a slight upgrade, some different things in it. As we walk around the car here, you can see the newly designed wheels, which are extremely ugly. I'm going to gloss over that and move to the rear end here. The whole new rear diffuser on it. We've got a slightly different carbon spoiler on the back that's looking pretty nice. And of course, up front here, you can see the Plaid has new design language on the front bumper. Slightly revised, you can see areas like this that are no longer open. This is a dry carbon fiber piece. And then as you jump inside is where we have the new Plaid bucket seats, which look amazing. It looks like a panda is about to hug you. And that's what it feels like when you sit inside. So what we've done today when I picked this car up from the amazing team over at Tesla Loveland, big shout out to them. They gave it to us overnight here, shooting a reviews video, shooting this video, shooting a build quality video for the detailing channel. Yes, lots of content here with the new Model S Plaid. We asked what you guys wanted to know about the new Model S over on Twitter/X, and we're gonna answer those questions. We've got the Plaid inside now, and I've got my computer up here with all of the questions you guys had from our X/Twitter poll. So first question from Out of Spec Dave, fellow Model 3 Performance owner, choose one. Money is no object, this or Model 3 Performance, and why? Well, as you guys can probably tell, this is what I chose, a 2025 Tesla Model 3 Performance over a Model S Plaid. Number one being price. I think for half the price a Model 3 is compared to a Model S Plaid, it's not necessarily half the car. Are there nicer things in the Model S, such as the Alcantara headliner, the bigger back seat, having a hatch, and 1,000+ horsepower? Absolutely. But for daily driving, for driving around town, and for canyon carving like I like to do with my Model 3, there is no doubt I'm going to choose a Model 3 Performance every single day of the week over a Model S Plaid. Next question is from my friend Michael. Michael asks, how are the sport seats comfort-wise? Well, I can tell you these might be my favorite seats I've ever sat in. They are extremely comfortable and, weirdly enough, way better than the Model 3 Performance seats. I think one of the biggest reasons why is because the new side bolster here, you can see doesn't have a ton of deflection. The new Model 3 Performance, you can just push that down. Yes, they are soft, but I really think these are way more comfortable. Oddly enough, I'm a bigger dude, but I fit way better in these seats. Really, really like these kind of rib supports over here. I really like the touch of having the micro suede / Alcantara in here. Hold you in the seats a lot better. Love the heating, love the cooling in these. Unfortunately, no massage, but these are really, really comfortable seats and probably my favorite seats on the market. Bobby R asks, how does the new nose look in person? Well, that's an interesting topic, and to be honest, I think I'm still trying to get used to it. I do really appreciate that the new Model S Plaid has its own character, its own look to it, very similar to what Model 3 Performance Highland did over there with the performance only bumper. You can see the new nose up here looks pretty nice. We've got a very nice front splitter here. This air intake up front here in piano black with the fog light in there, I think does look very nice. It is taking me some time to get a little bit used to. I also do think this looks way better in person than it does on camera, having that nice dry carbon fiber with the matte black Tesla emblem, the piano black accenting it. I think it's a really sleek looking bumper, and I'm sure over time I'll grow to love it. Tank Top Lawyer here asked 2 questions. Why should I upgrade from my 2023 Model S Plaid? And can you post pics of the 19s without the aero caps? Can definitely do that. We'll remove them on camera here. Let's answer your first question. Why should you upgrade? You shouldn't. The car is not that different to be upgraded from a 23. I think you'd see very minimal changes, and I personally would recommend keeping your 2023 unless you absolutely want out of it. But I personally don't see enough changes here to justify swapping from a 23. Now, if you've had an earlier 2021 where you're upgrading from a Model 3 or something like that, definitely think this is worth the upgrade. So bad news, Tank Top Lawyer. I have tried to pull these off and they are way too tight. Even if you stick your finger in here, they do not budge at all, and there's nowhere else to grab these. These are absolutely welded in there as well. So no, I'm not going to take these off and not going to break Tesla's brand new demo car. Grace Shot Down asks, how bad does the plastic front grille look in person? Well, I'm assuming you're talking about this area up here, or maybe down here. I actually think it looks pretty good. I like the dry carbon in there. I'm not necessarily sure I prefer it over the last one, but I do think it's a nice added subtle touch. Our guy asks, what charging improvements? How are the massaging seats? Is the roof chromatic? Well, it doesn't have any new charging improvements. Same 250 kilowatt peak. This is, of course, the same battery pack found in the last generation Plaid. Has an okay charging curve. It's better than most of the other Teslas out there. And actually, the winner of the race to Vegas a couple years ago with the Lucid Air Grand Touring and rear-wheel drive Taycan. Be really interesting to rerun that test now that we don't have Signet Surge with Lucid. Now that we have a new Taycan, I'd be very curious to see how new Model S and new Model S Plaid actually fare against the others. Other questions. No, it does not have massaging seats in it. And no, the roof is not chromatic. Love this question from Phil. How quiet and comfortable relative to i7, iX, or EQS for long rides, as well as how well does it isolate you from road bumps? So I do think Tesla has improved the overall NVH of this car. I'm not exactly sure how they've done it, if it's stronger noise cancellation inside the cabin using speakers, if it's, you know, new fender liners with new padding, new insulation places. It is better. I would not even put it close to BMW i7, iX, or EQS for that matter. Nowhere near Audi e-tron levels quiet. It is a very, very quiet car, especially on long road trips. This car is really meant to munch miles, and it does really, really well at that. I can tell you wind noise is almost completely gone. The most noise you actually hear is through the suspension and through the wheels and tires. So you do hear a little road noise, especially going over undulations in the road. You definitely hear the impacts. So definitely not the most isolating thing, but actually pretty impressive. Phil also asked, how well does it do in 10% challenge and hogback? Well, unfortunately, I only have this car overnight, so we'll have to wait until we get a long-term loan or one of the viewers actually gets these cars, as well as highway range in the real world. What I can tell you is Model S is actually reasonably efficient in this current setup, 368 miles of EPA rated range. Of course, when we get the opportunity, we'll do our 70 mile per hour range test. And his last question, any thermal issues? I think being Tesla, you guys probably know the thermal issues. For charging, really no thermal issues. When you start pushing and implementing that 1,000+ horsepower, especially time after time, you can get this thing to derate, especially if you're ripping on a canyon. If you're on a track, you will definitely toast the battery. This is a great question here. I'm Bored asks, is there any benefits of having a front camera by the front bumper? Well, I think if you can't park very well, it's a very good feature to have. You can see it sitting up here. In my personal opinion, windshields actually work really, really great for seeing out the front of a car. I personally never scraped a front bumper on any sort of curbstone. but that's just me. I would like to see Tesla implement a 360 cam, not just the digital visualization inside of the vehicle. I think it'd be really nice to see how other vehicles do like that. Even like our Kia EV9 has that technology, many GM products, a lot of other cars have that. So I would love to see Tesla implement that. For me, front bumper cam is really not that big of a deal. For others, I do understand you don't want to smack this front lip on it, but yeah, just know how big your car is. The Climate Informant asks, most of us are impressed with Highland and Juniper. Did the S refresh raise the bar in similar ways or not really? I think this could be its own dedicated video, but from my experience, Model 3 is still Model 3. They improved a lot of things. They improved the efficiency of the car. They didn't improve charging. They made it quieter. They made it ride better. They gave it new seats, new front bumpers, new fascias. Basically exactly what this car got. And I think a lot of people have been complaining about this car, but I do think they could have gone farther for their flagship car here. We would, of course, like to see better charging curves on this car. We'd like to see, other improvements, 48 volt like Cybertruck, maybe even steer by wire. So on one hand, I do think they did make some improvements, but I don't think they went far enough. So for example, old Model S suspension rode decently well. I had my gripes with it, but this rides probably 20-25% better. NVH in here, while it is, like I said, a lot quieter, there still are some impacts from potholes and, manhole covers and things like that. So those are areas I would like to see improved. But overall, yes, I actually do think they did a pretty decent upgrade here in terms of in context to Juniper and Model 3. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it actually did quite a bit of the same as the Model 3 Highland and Model Y Juniper. Mr. Eric from Drive Protected, shout out to Eric. Eric's the freaking man. First impressions of the overall build quality of it. Now, to be totally honest, I haven't really looked around the car, but again, I'm impressed with the improvements in the NVH. With the suspension, that's quieted down. The biggest letdown here, still rattles in the interior. Same Tesla story, we're still here in 25, $100,000+ Model S Plaid still has rattles all over the interior, so that's pretty frustrating. Stay tuned, which is already probably going to be up. I'm going to be doing a full build quality analysis with this particular lunar silver Model S Plaid. Nick Harris asks, does the rear drive unit still have the cold start vibration for the first mile? Now we should talk about what that is. 9 times out of 10, when you would get into a Model S after it's been sitting for a while, you'd put your foot on the accelerator and you would feel this vibration throughout the whole bottom of the car. Now, it was really hot here today, 97 degrees when I started filming this. I felt none of that. I don't know how long the car was sitting. My understanding was the car was sitting and I didn't feel that. So fingers crossed that has been fixed here. I'm not exactly sure what they have done to actually fix that. But in my experience with this particular car on a very hot day, I haven't felt the cold start. Now, that could be a different story when it's 20 below here in Colorado in a few months. We'll definitely keep you posted. So Will says, none. Why couldn't they do a new generation by now? I think that's going to be a big topic with the new Model S here. Why didn't Tesla go completely crazy with this car? Now, I just made an out of spec reviews video talking a little bit about my feelings about that. I really think Tesla has done a good job with the Model S. It's kind of the all-season tire of the 4-door big boy sedans. Does everything very good, but not anything super amazing. Okay, yes, it's got 1,000 horsepower. Lucid Air Sapphire has 1, 2, 3, 4 horsepower. It used to be the quickest accelerating, used to have the longest range. Now you're seeing other competitors get better, but there's really not one package that kind of does it all as well as Tesla does it, especially considering full self-driving, especially considering the charging that they have in terms of reliability with the supercharger network, as well as still nobody has a leg up on Tesla in terms of software, phone integration, things like that. Are there areas for improvement? Absolutely, yes. I would love to see Tesla do this, but from a business perspective, I do understand why they didn't throw millions and millions of dollars at the Model S to only sell probably a couple thousand more per quarter. What's the diff versus the old one? I mean, tech-wise, asks Kerbos the Burshus. Really not much here. This, of course, does have hardware 4. Maybe technically this is now going to be classed as hardware 4.5 with the front bumper cam. Software is exactly the same, other than the new suspension menu. That's the only change I've seen. And of course, the ambient lighting. So if you consider that tech, that is tech, but battery charging improvements have not been changed. No real overall tech changes with the new Model S Plaid. JG asks, has the rear seat latch been improved? Unfortunately, it has not. And this has been a frustrating thing for a lot of Model S owners. Basically, this whole seat latch back here that's a little hard to find, and in here. No, it has not been improved. And I actually, unfortunately, have been hearing some rattles from the back end, which I presume is in this area. So unfortunately, no, that has not been changed. So guys, there were definitely a lot more questions that we could have answered, but we really need the car for a longer period of time to really assess in terms of range, in terms of efficiency, things like that. Overall, I do think it is a slightly nice upgrade. I'm personally not sure that I would recommend, again, a 2023 owner of a Model S Plaid go out, spend another $100,000 on a depreciating, I should say asset, but at that point it's really a liability. The new Model S is the best Model S I've ever driven. I really do appreciate some of the improvements. I really like that the Plaid finally has its own styling cues to it, even if that's just a front and rear bumper, something that you can look at the car and not just look at a badge and go, oh, that's the fast one. I really like the new seats, and I also actually really like the ambient lighting. That's one thing I do want to show you guys in here. As I open this up, you'll see the wake up screen, and it's going to shoot the light over here. The new ambient lighting is really trick how they've done this. You can actually not feel this, and when you turn the ambient lighting off, you can't even ever tell it was there. So that's a really cool feature. But again, I think the interior overall, a really nice interior. The new seats are really nice. I do appreciate the NVH improvements. I do appreciate the suspension improvements. I do think they could do more for sure. So that's our Q&A here with the brand new Model S Plaid. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any other questions, I can of course try and answer some of them in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching another Out of Spec Bits video. See you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.